subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
All right, let's get Dustin in here. All right, Dustin. Let's get Mr. Dustin in the building. Dustin, are you in here, sir? Dustin? How you doing, Dustin?
I am doing okay, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind?
I was just told to join the space by a friend. They said I need to come listen. I just got here.
Okay. Did your friend give you any context as to why you needed to listen?
No. I mean, this is an interesting topic, I guess. I'm kind of one of those who gets caught on the middle trying to make peace on both sides. I think it's the Jews trying to create a race war, personally.
Really, the Jews. Why are the Jews trying to create a race war?
They run everything. They are behind every organized evil every single time throughout all history. It's always them. And they hate mankind so much that they want to enslave and dominate everyone in a Jew world order. And it is a little crazy, I know, but the Bible talks about demons and giants like Goliath. I think that bloodline lives on only in the Jewish people today. I think they are the Nephilim, Anunnaki, whatever words you want to call them. And so God promised us a deep state of them in Judges 2. So basically, I'm making the point that Jews are evil and they're trying to enslave or destroy all of us.
And what do you think their outcome is?
Well, they've been writing about it for a long time. Basically, they want a new world order with them in power and everyone subservient to them.
So how come there's never been a Jewish president?
Sorry, it glitched out a little bit. I couldn't make that out.
So if Jews have so much power, how come there's never been a Jewish president?
They usually operate from behind the scenes, but most of the presidents are crypto Jews like Trump. They pretend to be white, but they're really Jewish.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I heard somebody else say that what's his name? LBJ was a secret Jew. So yeah, the whole secret Jew narrative. Now, Dustin, where's your family from, by the way?
North Carolina, USA.
Right. But before that, what part of Europe did they come here from?
France, Germany, and Saxon, UK.
Okay. So you an Anglo-Saxon?
Yeah, kind of Irish and Scottish, French background.
But well, here's the thing about the Jews control the world and everything like that. The problem is this: when it comes to Black people, the Anglo-whites and the white Jews, the white Jews who believe in white supremacy, they all get together and join forces against us. So that's been the problem. So it's almost like a distinction without a difference. Now, if they've hoarded the wealth that they've accumulated from some of the Anglos, so that's an internal issue. That's not an issue with Black people, because both sides basically control us. You can't say, well, the Jews control the world. Well, we're controlled by white supremacy. If Jews control the world in the United States, over here during slavery, they were very adamant about white people running the show in all of the documents and the paperwork and the laws. So where did the Jews come in with that?
Well, actually, like they were 95% of the slave owners, slave ships. That was not a white thing. That was a Jewish thing almost entirely.
Why were the slave ships named Christian names? Like when Sir John Hawkins, he had one of the earliest slave ships. It was called the Good Ship Jesus. Many of the slave ships had Christian names. Why is that?
Well, I can't speak on specific names, but they do like to hide behind Christian cloaks. I mean, they actually stole the identity of the Old Testament people of the Bible. That's why most Christians fall for their lies. They think that they're actually God's chosen when they're not.
Okay. So, yeah, if they were going to do that, they would pretty much be loud and proud. Why would they hide it?
Like, here's some of the names of the ships with their owners. Name of the ship was Abigail, but the owners were Aaron Lopez, Moses Levi, and Jacob Franks.
Yeah, Aaron Lopez. I know who Aaron Lopez. He built one of the first synagogues here in the U.S. But
Yeah,
yeah, but he was one. And then I mean, you did have Jewish slave owners and you had Jewish
right.
ship owners, but for the most part, most of them, it was a white Christian thing.
No, it was. I'm telling you, brother, it was like 95% slave owners,
That's
Jews.
not true. That's not true.
Okay, so here's one study. It's at the height of American slavery, 78% of slave owners were ethnic Jews. It was actually, by the way, white Christians that stopped them under William Wilberforce, at least in the Western world. In Africa, it still goes on.
No, no, I got no. Well, it was black people fighting during the Civil War that stopped that. But yeah, you had Jesus of Lubbock, Grace of God. You had ships like Blessing. That was a British slave ship. Trinity. That was another slave ship. Angel Gabriel, the
The owner.
Providence slave ship. Yeah, but why would they get? They all had Christian names. So
Well, so they actually had Jewish names, and then they put Christian names on their boats so that you would hate Christians. That's what Jews do.
oh,
They're trying to create a
okay.
race war.
So yeah, they just this big. They went to this big, long, elaborate trick.
It wasn't that long. It wasn't that elaborate. It's not that hard to check. You can get mad
And,
about it if you want.
no,
It was,
I'm not mad. No, I'm trying to learn here. I'm just trying to make sense of it because okay,
yeah,
so
the
if it
names
were
of the
really
ships were Abigail, Crown, Nassau, Four Sisters, Anne, and Eliza. Basic stuff. The
right,
names of the owners were Levi, Franks, Simpson, Lopez, Abrams, Phoenix, Lyle, Jewish
and
names,
yeah,
Wolf.
but then you had Jackson, Johnson, Washington. These were Christians. These were Christian names. These were Christian slave owners,
Most
sir.
of our founding fathers here were, in fact, secret society Freemason Satanists. But
And
look
they
at
were
the
slave
things that
owners, and
played out.
they were Christian slave owners, sir. Why
Well,
did
that
okay,
might have
sir,
that
sir?
might have been the case.
But why did they have so many churches, and why did they force Christianity on black people and not Judaism?
Christianity was the vast majority. It was a Christian country, and Jews were.
Right. Right. So they forced Christianity on us. They had us going to Christian churches. They didn't have us going to synagogues, sir. So that shows that the slave owners were white, right?
No, that we're enslaved together in the same country by the same people, basically,
Who was enslaved?
all of us.
No, we're not, sir. We're not enslaved. No, we're not all enslaved. It was foundational black Americans
White
who were
white people
enslaved.
have no power here in
Oh,
America
yeah, the
or the
hell you
West.
don't.
Not at all.
You don't. You don't have power.
What can you name a politician that's not
What
controlled
can't
by the Jews?
um none. They're not controlled by nobody. They
Can
can
you
do whatever
name
they
any
want to do.
example of our government being pro-Christian, even though we are a Christian nation?
Yeah, everything is pro-Christian.
No, they hate Christianity.
Not really. That's why there's so many churches here, sir. Let me get my brother Professor Allen in here. Professor Allen, hop on, please.
Hey, what's going on, brother Tariq? Hey, family. I just want to identify that we may be looking at what Robert Greene calls self-directed warfare from our dear friend Dustin. Um, this is strategy number one called the polarity strategy. Robert
Hmm.
Greene says we live in an era in which people are seldom directly hostile. The rules of engagement, social, political, and military have changed, and so must your notion of the enemy. An upfront enemy is rare and now actually a blessing. People hardly ever attack you openly anymore, showing their intentions, their desire to destroy you. Instead, they are politically indirect. Although the world is more competitive than ever, outward aggression is discouraged, and so people have learned to go underground to attack unpredictably and craftively. Lastly, he says many use friendship as a way to mask aggressive desires. They come close to you to do more harm. I'm hearing this dude saying, what I'm hearing is, oh, we're all friends. Let's hold hands so we get close so he can stab us.
Mm.
And I'm out.
Man, thank you so
So
much.
I get it. Angry words hurt your feelings. Understood. Words are
No,
violent.
nobody's hurt. No, nobody's hurt, sir. I mean that's a scholar. That's a certified
Sounds
professor. That's a tenured professor. So he's not hurt. He's
it,
bringing
it
scholarship. We're talking
sounds
scholarship here,
it
sir.
sounds a bit like the postmodernist professors who don't really know much but get paid a good salary to teach nonsense anyway. Um, that essentially what he just said boiled down is that polite words become evil intent and violence suppressed because he doesn't like what I say, but the facts
No,
remain.
it's not. No, it's not, Dustin. It's not liking. You just have to bring scholarship to it. Just you're almost
Well,
doing a white not
okay,
say
okay.
so. You're
I'll
like you
quote.
when you say, no, slow down. When you say, yeah, the Christians were the Jews were pretending to be Christians. There's no scholarship to back that up. That's just
I
you
can
saying
prove
it.
that
So,
easily. Yeah, even today. or through history. But let me quote a black scholar, Thomas Sowell, in Irresponsible
Thomas
Education.
Sowell, Thomas Sowell gets paid to regurgitate white supremacist talking points.
Quote,
So yeah, that's our good
more
brother.
whites were
That's
brought
that's
as
our good. No,
slaves
no, no,
to North
no. Slow
Africa
down,
than
slow
blacks.
down, slow down. I have to slow you down. When you have to quote somebody who white people pay to really spew their talking points to act as a black shield, that's a bad faith argument. So Thomas Sowell is not a good source.
When you
You
don't
have to pay.
follow,
You have
when
to
you
pay
don't
him
follow the
millions of dollars.
brothers with a
That
brain, you end up.
hold on, no. That's like saying Jason Whitlock said blase blah. Well, you pay him to say it, so that's they'll
I
say
didn't
anything
pay
you
him
tell them to
anything
say.
because Jews have all
Right,
the money. So I mean, you can
right.
get triggered about the facts, or you can just
No,
call
nobody, no,
everybody that you don't
no,
agree with like paid or whatever. But I'm trying
no,
to.
no, I'm not making that up. He is paid by right wing think tanks, so they pay him to say this stuff, and I'm not mad at him. You're supposed to get your money, but
Well, what he
we're
says
talking
is a fact.
scholarship.
In fact, more whites have been enslaved by blacks than blacks by whites
How
over
so?
history, including the Barbary slave trade.
Okay, we're not talking about societies that don't exist no more. The Moroccan Empire doesn't
You know,
exist.
these
The
things are
Barbary
still
Empire.
happening today.
No. The Moroccan Empire doesn't exist no more, sir. We're talking about a nation that exists now. The United States had us enslaved. The United States and its constitution exists
All
now.
right,
The Ottoman Empire doesn't
keep
exist no
muting me.
more.
I'm gonna go.
No, but you're not. Yeah, thank you. You can leave. Yeah, he left, but yeah, you're not just gonna say shit. All right, you're not gonna say shit and just use the. I'm just gonna put the lies out there and just keep talking over you. No, we're gonna slow down and then we'll dismantle everything. What he said was a damn lie. The slave trade was initiated and dominated by Christian monarchies. It wasn't the damn Jews. And this whole lies that they were pretending to be Christians is bullshit. Portugal and Spain kicked it off under Catholic rule. All right? The papal bulls were coming from the damn Pope and the damn Vatican. These are Christian people. And they had a papal bull saying that it's okay to subjugate non Christian people. They didn't say, hey, this is a Jewish thing. No, they were very, very adamant when they started this shit. Who was running the show, all right? It wasn't no secret Jews up there in the Vatican doing all this. All right? In fact, Spain expelled the Jews. Portugal expelled the Jews. They expelled the Jews from there and said, now that we got these Jews out of here, we about to get us some slavery going on around the world. Yeah, you're not going to do that. The British and American slave codes, they explicitly protected white Christians. Virginia slave codes, they were like, no Negro, mulatto, or Indian at any time shall be a witness against any white Christian. All right? They kept saying over and over in them damn laws, whites could not be enslaved if they were Christian. Look up them damn Virginia slave code laws, family. This ain't me talking. I'm telling you scholarship. This ain't emotion. Just look the shit up. Where's the scholarship about where they were really pretending to be Jews, where they were really Jews pretending to be Christians? That's bullshit. Yeah, he ran because no, we talking scholarship. He tried to say, well, Professor Allen, oh, you're being emotional. No. He's giving you some scholarly research here. We're not emotional. We just deal with facts over here. You don't do I'm white and I say so. We don't do that here. Yeah, slavery was justified legally by religion. It was Christianity versus heathens. The legal justification in those English colonies were hinged on whether the person was Christian. Huh? And even when we converted to Christianity, they said, well, you're going to still be slaves. Come on now. And many of them in the early British colonies, many of them early on, they were actually barred from owning land or holding political office. In the early colonies, they had little political power. In 13th century Maryland and Virginia, Jews couldn't even vote. They couldn't openly practice Judaism. So how you gonna run the entire country and they had to hide their religion? See, what you're saying is a contradiction. You can't say, well, they had to hide their religion and pretend to be Christians. So that means the Judaism ain't supreme. Then they ain't running nothing. If you have to hide your shit, you ain't running nothing. If you have to hide who you are, that means by definition, you ain't running nothing. Those slave ships were owned by white Christians for the most part. Yeah, I mean, listen, they were Jewish slave owners. Yeah, they were. You had Judah B. Benjamin, who was basically the brains of the Confederacy. Yeah, you had a small. Yeah, you got um, a Jewish Confederate cemetery out there on the East Coast. Yeah, you had some Jews who were involved, but it was run by white Christians. Yeah, I don't get caught up in the religion thing. Yeah, most of those slave ships were funded, owned, and operated by Christian merchants. The Royal African Company, that was one of the largest slaving organizations, that was run by the British Crown. Wasn't no Jews. The Christian churches and the clergy, they actively profited from slavery. Excuse me. Them damn Quakers, some of them were slave owners. Come on now, and Pilgrims and Quakers and all them people. William Penn, who was a Quaker, he was a slave owner. That's what Pennsylvania is named after. It's with all that Jew stuff. Come on now. These universities, Georgetown, Harvard, that was funded from slave profits from Christian networks, not Jewish networks. And they were using the Bible to justify slavery. They weren't using the Torah. They were using the Bible to justify it. Huh? This whole thing, because there was there was Jewish participation, but it wasn't centralized. That whole Jews ran 75% of the slave ships. No, that came from a book by Eli Faber. Yeah, it wasn't that many Jews over here like that. In the U.S., Jews made up of, really, truth be told, they made up less than 2% of the slaveholding population. It wasn't a big number. See, don't let them. They try to play this hot potato game. The white supremacists love skirting responsibility. They love skirting responsibility. Hold on, let me get. Oh, I got Dr. Randy Short in the building. Oh, we got the legend in here, the legendary Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Short, hop on in here, sir.
Hey,
Dr.
how you
Short,
doing? Hey,
my good
man.
brother. How you doing, sir?
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Man, thank you so much for getting folks straight today. You know, brother, I've been preaching, talked about this doctrine of discovery that was started by the Roman Catholic Church, not by Jews,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
justified genocide, slavery, whatever. And by the way, they only said it was wrong in 2023. Okay. So
Yep.
let's not. It's not that there aren't some, but we can't go with some. The Catholic Church, and then subsequently all the churches that broke off from the Catholic Church through the Asiento, the monopoly in trading in black people and others came from the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
not from Judaism. And so Dom Diversas, and then there's the pontifex that they did, all of these popes starting in the 1450s. So and in America, they had an agreement in the 1720s. If I'm correct, one of the Anglican bishops came up with the doctrine. It's called basically that Christian temporal conversion doesn't alter the temporal status of a Negro. In other words, because of the Crusades, again, started by the Catholic Church that decided that it wanted to kill and rob non-white people. And out of that war, out of those wars that dragged from like 1090s into the 1290s, it's hundreds of years, it's sort of the tradition. We white folk got to stick together, so let's not enslave each other. Let me clarify. We Northern, Western, Southern Europeans shouldn't enslave each other, but they still enslaved Eastern Europeans that they called Slavs, slaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the word from.
Mm-hmm.
And you had slavery among Catholics because of what? The Catholic Church is one of the biggest slaveholding institutions of all times.
Yep.
Prior to the establishment of Italy as a nation, right? You had the Papal States, and what did they have? They had slavery. The Catholic Church had slavery even after Black Americans that supposedly on paper got free. There was still slavery in Italy. Okay, so we need to, let's deal with this. And if you look at the encomienda system throughout Latin America, where the land and the soil and the minerals under the soil and the people on top of it belong to these owners, and this is all under the Catholic Church. So let's be honest about this. And there has been a perpetual war for basically 575 years against our people in the name of hijacked, hacked, racist Christianity. I'm a Christian, but not a fake one. I'm a Nat Turner Christian, not a Ku Klux Klansman. You know what I'm saying? And so you're 100% right. And when people say this stuff, Jew, wait a minute, they were persecuting and killing and running Jews out everywhere. The Jews got run out. So they never were all powerful. And in fact, it's the Catholic Church that set Jews up to be hated by letting them go into banking. So they still have, because the Roman Catholic Church has bank, they're doing business with the Communist Chinese and everybody. But they'll put you out there looking, saying Jew. And it's no, it's cracker. Okay, let us be honest about this. I'm not trying to make anybody that did anything wrong. It was Jewish. Good. Because I'm honest with people. I have an ancestor. His name is Robert Israel. Robert Israel is from the city of London. He's a Jew, and they helped start slavery in Barbados. Okay. But they couldn't have gotten that done without the Royal African Company, the other things that you're talking about, this Virginia Company. All these things were crown companies. None of the rulers of England were Jewish. None. Okay, I'm not trying to be funny. I come from the lineage of the people that ruled Scotland and England. I mean, a bunch of us do. That's why this woman, what's her name? Markle. What's this silly broad? How do you have a broad that's married to the prince? Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle and a whole bunch of us that are from Tidewater, Virginia, are the descendants of the royal families of Europe. It's just a fact. That's why you'll never hear them call her a commoner, no matter how common she is. So a whole bunch of us, and none of us per se, get that royal lineage, not from Jews. It comes from the Danes. It comes from the Scots. It comes from people from Normandy and Britain and so forth. So and some of those people were black over in Europe too. And they're Moorish, and it's a whole, we've been lied to about everything. But I applaud you, brother. You're telling the truth. We need to stay out of that game.
Yes.
They're trying to get us. They're trying to get us caught up and fighting for Palestinians. They're trying to get us fighting for these illegals. They want our effort, but they don't want us. They want our music, but they hate the people that are singing it. They want your labor, but they don't want to pay you or include you in what you've built. And so let's be smart. In fact, we had the whole world shaking because people like you, Professor Black Truth, Black Authority, and others have educated people. I mean, imagine Carmelo Anthony. They would never thought that black folks raised a half million. Would have raised the million if they could have done through GoFundMe. And didn't they shut that tramp down up in Minnesota that was messing with a little crippled Somali boy? We're the grassroots because of this wisdom. So you keep putting it out there. You put it out there.
Yes, sir.
So let me land my plane. Bless these people. Read. Think. Help each other. Love each other. And when's this your new film gonna come out? I can't wait.
Later this year, early next year. But I'll keep you posted. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Randy Short. Phenomenal, brother. Phenomenal. He's in the new movie too. Yes, indeed. Okay, let me get some, because we got a lot of folks in here. Let's get Isaac. Oh, well, where's Isaac? Oh, Isaac. I didn't mean to get you out of here, Isaac. Oh, there's a guy named Oh, there he is. Isaac. Well, Isaac, let me get you back in. I made a mistake and took you down. You made a request to get up. Let me put you back up. Isaac, you wanted to get up? What happened to Isaac? There's a guy named Isaac McDonald. He kind of looked like the other guy. So I was going to have him come on up and say what he needed to say. All right. But yeah, that whole narrative that that whole blame the Jews, a lot of the white supremacists and their wannabe white supremacists, that's a tactic they like using, and that's a deflection tactic. The whole purpose of that is to deflect. That's for them to avoid white Christian accountability. See, the white supremacists, they weaponize, they try to do that whole little anti-Semitic thing to shift the blame for slavery and colonialism and genocide away from the white societies that orchestrated them. So, they'll try to project the guilt onto the Jews to sanitize their own little blood-soaked legacy. Oh no, y'all ain't getting away with that. Y'all ain't blaming no damn Jews. It's y'all, white Christians. Y'all were doing the shit. Y'all out here raping folks and selling kids, and y'all were loud and proud about being white and Christian. Yeah, don't sit up and tell me it was really some undercover Jews who was pretending to be Christian. No, we ain't buying that. See, you try to use Jews as a scapegoat while you uphold the white institutions. Yeah. See, they'll attack Jews in speech, but they'll never target or seek to dismantle the white-led systems. They talk about, listen, they talk all this shit about how, the Jews control everything, but yeah, y'all maintain the system. You white supremacists are the main ones defending the systems to maintain this dominance. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, sorry. My bad. So yeah, they're the main ones. They'll sit up and talk about, oh yeah, we're all subjugated to the Jews, dude. The Jews got all of us, but you're not doing anything to dismantle those systems. You sit up here and support the police departments. You support the janky court systems. You support Wall Street. All of these things that reinforce white supremacy. So your goal is never justice. It's all about misdirection. You see, they always talk about how Jews run everything and they run all of the systems. Then what the hell are you doing to dismantle the system? And you're never defending us against them. When black folks are being attacked by certain anti-black people within Jewish society, y'all never step in for us. Y'all don't help us. And that Jews run everything trope, that's a smokescreen for white elite control. The banking system, transatlantic slave system, the prison industrial complex, these were controlled by white European powers. And it protects blaming Jews. That's to protect the white elites. So they think if they do this misdirection game, all of the heat won't be on them. See, they try to pretend to be anti-establishment, but they reinforce the core of it. They always talk about fighting for global control and all this, that old, what's his name? Why am I having a brain fart? What's that guy's name? The Bilderbergs, the InfoWars guy. Why can't I think of his name? What's his name? InfoWars. Hold on. What is his name? Let me look him up real quick. I'm having a brain fart. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. What is his name? And it's right at the tip of my damn tongue. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Why did I couldn't think of Alex Jones? Alex Jones, big dumb pie face ass. Alex Jones. It's the Bilderbergs. It's the Illuminati, and the New World Order, and it's all of the elitists and Israel and everybody, the Zionists. They're trying to control the world, and it's all they're going to have a meeting with the Bilderbergs and the Trilateral Commission and all of that stuff. You let him keep talking. And then he gets into some anti-black stuff. He was the one talking about Trayvon Martin deserved it. Zimmerman is innocent. Anything anti-black, he's all on it. Yeah, you let them keep talking. They'll sit up and talk about the Bilderberg, use all of these code words for Jews, but then anything anti-black, you're co-signing that too. That's why I don't want to hear all that shit. Don't want to hear none of that at all. And they try to rewrite history to erase the white crimes. All that Jews ran the slave trade. See, they're trying to erase their clear record of white monarchs, white presidents, white churches, white settlers who wrote the slave codes, owned the plantations, passed these racist laws. Well, they're crypto Jews. Stop it. You know, you never call out the white Christian founding fathers. They worshiped them, and they were openly white supremacists, open slave owners. Yeah. See, they get real upset when they can't do the "I'm white and I say so" on us. When that "I'm white and I say so" don't work, you're getting mad. No, we're not getting mad. We're just not buying your bullshit. We ain't getting mad at all. What you're saying doesn't anger me. You lying don't anger me. You're not going to skirt responsibility. We're on your bumper.
Good way, good way.